What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Break Out of Your Comfort Zone. This week I'm going to be teaching you how to break out of your comfort zone. This is very important for what you do for when you want to learn magic or everyday life. So without any further ado, let's get to it. One of the most biggest fears all around the world is approaching anxiety, having to speak in public, having to perform in public, or just being seen by the public. I always used to think it was snakes, spiders, but no, this one here hits the bigger one. So in this week's video I'm going to be teaching some little steps on how to approach someone or how to just break out of the comfort zone, break through the ice. If you're not a magician and you're here for the confidence and how to break out of your comfort zone and interact with people, and you feel like, and you're starting to feel like, oh no, I'm not a magician, this is not going to help me, please do stick around for this video, because I can guarantee you this will benefit you as well. All you have to do is just adapt it to what you're doing. It's very simple. The most common questions I get asked a lot is basically, oh, how do you break out of your comfort zone? Like, how do you go to approach someone? What are techniques? What are some things you say? What are some things you do? What do you look for in a person? And so this week's video I'm going to be covering up all those topics. The first one is basically yourself. You have to walk in with a clear state of mind. You can't go in there worrying about nothing. Just so by the time you walk up to the person, you should be clear. You can't worry about, oh, what trick am I going to do? What am I going to say? What happens if they reject me? Because as soon as you start worrying about all that stuff, your confidence level just comes just like that. It drops dramatically, and it's not pleasant. You start shaking, you start sweating, and whoever you're going to perform for or talk to thinks you're a bit of a weirdo, and they walk away. And then it just makes your confidence level go down, and it's not pleasant at all. So you're walking with a clear state of mind, and yeah, just don't worry about nothing. Just think positive. You always got to know what you're going to say. So for example, the technique I always use, I don't always walk up to a person and be like, oh, do you want to see a trick, and have cards in front of their face, because that makes them want to walk away and be like, nah, sorry, I've got to go. See, what I usually do is I walk up to them and I always ask them just a question. It could be about anything. For example, like I did this once. I was in town, and I was hungry, and I knew where the food court was, about 4 blocks down, and I approached a few people and I go, oh, hi, excuse me, sorry to bother you, do you know where the food court is? I'm a little bit hungry. And they go, oh yeah, it's just 4 blocks down, turn left to the nearest building. And then I'm like, alright, thank you, this and that. And then I started talking, it's good weather, and it just coincidentally, I was wearing the same pair of shoes as the other person in front of me in the group. And I said, oh look, same shoes, whatever, like we're the same. We have a bit of a connection. And they all looked at me a little bit weird from there. I'm like, listen, I can show you, for example. And I pulled out a deck of cards, and I said, I can guess what deck of cards you're thinking, what card you're thinking of. And then so on. That's how the trick went from there. I ended up performing about 5-6 tricks, and then by the end of it was about 30 to 50 people just around me, surrounding. I was just performing some tricks, and then it went on from there. You always got to know what to say. Like, you always got to be prepared. So in case they give you one-word answers, you don't want to be like, oh, do you know what this is? Oh, it's a nice day we're having, yeah. And so you got to keep the conversation flowing. You got to draw them into you. And another little technique I used to do is I used to just have conversations with my parents, my siblings, my cousins, and my uncles and aunties and all that, and then just keep the conversation flowing. So then when you're out there performing or approaching someone to have a conversation with them, you just got ideas to talk about, and you just, okay, for example, I was speaking to my cousin about the footy, and then as you're talking to him, you just bring up footy, and then you slowly work your way into magic. It's very simple like that. Now, one of the most important thing is basically, what do you do when you stuff up a trick? And I know a lot of people that have sent me emails, oh, I've tried some of your techniques, I've tried this, I've tried that, but I've done this move, I've done this, I've done that, and I stuffed up, and the person one of the people in the audience caught me, and as from there they went downhill. They started shaking, they started sweating, they started dropping cards, and people started backing off. Now, with me, every time I go perform, I always have an invisible deck in my back pocket. So if I do get caught on a move, or I do accidentally mess up a trick, I always say, okay. I'll be like, okay, now, and then I'll just do like a random flourish, or just do something, lose the card in the deck, completely forget about it. Listen, now you chose a card, you did this, what was your card, name it out, and then the invisible deck comes and saves the day. And that's one of my key backup savers. I love doing that. So, and the thing is, even if and it attracts more people in, because you get a bigger like, oh yeah. So the invisible deck is one of my favorite, favorite backup. But for example, if you don't have an invisible deck, some of the things you can do is basically, if someone's hashing you, oh, I saw that move, I saw what you did there, they'll be like, just be like, yeah, okay, watch, because, okay, yeah, but what's this? And then you just keep continuing, just act like they don't know. If they keep being, a bit of a smartass, oh, I saw that, you're doing this, double lift, or false cut, just be like, yeah, okay. And just keep on going, don't worry about them. They're just gonna, they're there to make they're there just to make your life harder, so then don't worry about it. Just act like you don't see them, act like you don't know them. I got an email a couple of days ago saying I was performing a trick in front of about 15 to 20 people, and they and at first it was all good, he used my technique, walked up to him, approach him, and then other people came, watched the trick, whatever, and then he accidentally got the wrong card, and then everyone's like, oh, and then he was saying, what are something. Ever since then, ever since that day when he stuffed up, he hasn't done anything with magic. He stays in his, doesn't perform to anyone anymore. How would you overcome that? Well, pretty much like I said before, the invisible deck. But what I usually do is I used to be like, okay, what was your card? I'll find their card, and then I'll just do a few little moves, hide it, palm it off, and be like, listen, your card was in my pocket the whole time. That's why I stuffed up. You're always gonna have like little backup ideas. You gotta constantly be thinking. But that's it for this week's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did benefit from this, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And for those of you who know me, I've been doing a deck giveaway at 250 subscribers, which is hopefully very, very soon. I'm very close to my goal. Like I said, stay awesome, guys, and I'll see you next week. So just before I start, you see this whiteboard here? The pen doesn't work, so yeah, it's useless, just there for looks.